All right, we're back here with set number 2 ready to go. It's Rain Day and Gormizer casting through today's PPL. On Wednesday, we'll have a little bit of a different broadcast each week. Obviously, we have Realm Royale tournaments going on. We've got Smite going on. Yeah. Probably have a little bit of a guest, or at least I Hold Shift coming with us to be a part of this. And hopefully, starting tomorrow, he will be around on the broadcast. So that'll be exciting to see. And, of course, SK Gaming continuing their journey here in this doubleheader. They faced off against G2 Esports, and it lasted quite a while. Gore, it was a spectacle, to say the least.
I'm excited for the prospects that SK have been able to just cement. Like the seed that they put in my brain with that first set means a lot for week 2, week 3, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm expecting, we're looking at the top 3 teams now for HRX, at least for the qualifiers.
Yeah.
They are just as far in that conversation as Renegades, as Splice, as Envy, and G2. So any 3 of those 5 could be making it here.
It's going to be a question of I think effort, and I think it's going to be a question of the small things deciding it all. That's typically what settles a kind of a wild card-ish situation, which is what I'm going to consider the third spot here, because G2 and Envy seem to, if they continue what they've been doing, have 1 and 2 closed out. But it's a new season. It's a new day, and we've got Renegades and SK. Let's go into maps to see where set 1 will begin, or set 2 will begin, and it'll be Stone Keep. And we spend all, you know what? Stone Keep, all right.
Renegades banned out Timbermill.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't want to play Timbermill.
I understand that, but I just don't see that.
Sometimes you just don't want to take the chance.
True.
It's like, there's no way I'm playing Timbermill today. I feel good about that. I think if I could ban out one map every time I played Paladins, it would be Timbermill. And I just say, I guarantee I will never play this today.
For me, I want to say mine would be Ice Mines, but I also feel like that's going to be true until I play Timbermill again.
Something about the cool blue. Like, I'll play an ice. I don't want to, but I will play it. Timbermill, don't tell anybody. But there have been times where I've gone to get water for a little too long to where somehow the match might have reset. And I've gone back in queue when I realized that Timbermill is the map that I was on.
Sometimes
life happens. Get a call.
Sometimes you just accidentally step away from Timbermill for a little bit.
You don't accidentally pick a character.
And then all of a sudden, you're in the next one. It's Brymarsh, and you insta-lock.
Yeah.
Well,
then I would be back from getting my water or doing my thing.
You're ready.
Yeah. Don't tell me you've never gotten some water during
Timbermill. I've gotten water during Timbermill when I'm like, man.
The other version, hey man, listen, if you're going to do that, I'd rather get water before than during Timbermill.
I never get up
let's put
in the middle of a game. I think about it. There have been several times where I've been like, I could just stop. Now, I could just stop. But there's something in my brain that's just like, you just got to see it.
There's no F6ing in Paladins.
They're never going to know whether or not you're there, but you just got to keep going.
Yeah. Oh, we know whether you're there or not. Bot Victor is a little bit different than most others, but
you've obviously never seen me.
Yeah. Bot Victor, I'm like, damn, Gore's having a good game today. Gore stepped it up. He's been practicing.
Man, these grenades are perfect. What is going on?
Willow here finally picked up. We didn't see that at all in the last set. Renegades here coming through, and I think honoring the position where Renegades are in, it's wait and see, but they definitely have been a foundation to build off of, whereas SK is maybe getting some completely new equipment, maybe some completely new materials, maybe even a new contractor to take over, maybe even a new set of blueprints to go ahead and even decide where and what they want to build in the first place. Renegades have already laid the foundation. They've already got the materials. They've already started building a couple of rooms. And this is really more of them seeing if they can get a finished product that is worthwhile enough to take them to HRX and allow them to actually make a run here against some of the best teams.
Sitting around in this position, ClickU making a return to something that I think he has played countless times at this point with the Ruckus. And we've seen him a lot more today than I think we've seen pretty much all last split. So Ruckus sitting in this comfortable position. He's a reliable damage and actually just going for the full flank with Loki here, once again returning to his Androxus. And this looks like a bad start for SK.
Yeah, Loki's in a great spot. And we knew Loki was going to be a big fixture in this matchup, especially on Stone Keep with Androxus. We knew that this character coming into the meta was just going to be what he needed. And he's going to luckily avoid that Grumpy Bomb damage and just get around the corner so that nothing ends up stopping his momentum. It's Hero on the Barrack who finds Bitey, and now SK Gaming full wipe here as Renegades look to zone.
Looking for some long-range shots. Not something you normally see out of Androxus, but as long as you hit those, I mean, look at the damage numbers Loki is able to put out. The Throner in this kind of position, everyone on SK in this kind of position, are having to keep eyes on him. Renegades, especially with Moonchopper and Loki pincering the way they have been, they don't have too much to worry about, but they lose both of them right there. And now you're trying to figure out where exactly you want to go, trying to fight the Throner. He's getting healed up. You're in a dangerous position, but that 99% is going to stick there even if Renegades have to reset. And
in Vocal, I mean, you got to say that, what does this feel like for a guy who's been carrying so much of the load in the PPL for SK thus far? I mean, having absolutely lights out performances and just nothing really changing, right? It's just showing the impossibility of one man himself to make the difference. And maybe it is the problem, too. One man being enabled, one man being the show. And that doesn't work for SK. And that needs to be adjusted. The Throner here drops the power siphon. Maybe being told that it's out, maybe just forcing the Throner back. But either way, even though he doesn't get kills until the end, he ends up finding himself the objective capture. Renegades lead 1-0.
This is, I want to say simultaneously, Renegades playing on a map there, I want to say very strong on in the past, notably. But also what you would see, and kind of I expect out of SK after the way the G2 set went, right? Where everything looks incredibly close. You get the first game, lose the second game, but still close. It feels real good. Third game, it starts to slip out of your control just towards the end of it when G2 is able to come through, and then finally you lose it all. But now you're coming into this, and like we said, you have to have a mental reset, but it's incredibly difficult to just say, I'm going to forget that that set happened and try to go into this fresh. You're still feeling a little demoralized after the way that went.
I mean, I don't even know if it's a little, man. You know, if you were just only preparing for the Renegades, I think it's a different day. I think it's a different set.
True.
Renegades are by themselves. It's one set today. It's just preparing for SK. It's like having their map ready. You know that SK wanted to win against G2. You know that was one, but in many ways, this is the must-win for them, right? Everyone could lose to G2. You'll stay even on that regard, but if you let Renegades get a W against you here, that's going to be so crucial in the fight for third place if that ends up being where it comes down to at the end of the round.
All in all, we're seeing Renegades. Again, this is like champions they historically play well, playing well on a map. They historically play well. Like everything about what they've been doing. I mean, Loki's 6-1-3. No one has an answer for this Androxus. The one time they were able to get rid of him, it kind of felt like he was still playing. He was just gatekeeping at that point. He wasn't really looking for a fight. He just happened to find one.
5, 4.
And we'll see if he can find some more as Renegades continue to dominate here. And Moonchopper leading the damage charts, just not picking up those final blows. 7-1 in total, 9-1 for Loki. So they've got to be feeling confident. Not much Paladins has been played, and oh man, ClickU. You know, he's so aggressive, and he's so... The thing that I like about ClickU is he's their franchise player. He's the guy in Renegades that has no problem stepping up and saying, this is my team, this is my choice, this is my decision, and I'm going to take this route to go ahead and make things happen. Absolute confidence, and it bleeds off of him, and I think it bleeds into the rest of his teammates.
Now you're seeing the success come through. They've been able to pick up a couple kills. They did end up losing a little bit. They lost Hero, but ClickU, Viral still picking up kills left and right. And 3 of the members of Renegades have gone for that Master Riding, and that has given them this advantage in positioning because they just run to the other side of the map, and by the time you recognize where they are, they're already behind you. You're half health, you don't know what's going on, and you're uncomfortable, confused, and probably left for dead by your team.
Kind of like that Androxus ultimate.
Yeah,
maybe the uncomfortable and confused part. That was not what Loki wanted. Absolutely nothing off of that. But, I mean, he gets a little information. High raised voice to signal a question.
Bottom space. I mean, there's that. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, the biggest advantage of it was at least buying that space, and he didn't die. Unfortunately, now he's gone down. Moonchopper as well. They're at 87%. That could have been a clean control, but with comeback mechanic, SK do have a leg in this.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And that's, again, why more the question. They did have, at that point when he went for the ult, 36%. And so it wasn't really a zoning ult. They hadn't fully tried to commit back yet. I think he had the idea that, oh, maybe I'll catch him around the ridge. And it was just a guess that didn't work out for him. The Throner looking to find ClickU, but it's Bitey who cleans up the job, paying, supporting some damage. And it is Bitey who cleans up 2 here, and it could be 3. Beautiful shield just to support his damage dealer. Cassie's going to stay alive as a result. Moonchopper trying to get up and down. He's going to throw the dead zone. He's going to throw the seedling. It's not even close to enough. Bitey picks up 3 in this one. 5 streak for him. SK Gaming not out of it yet, as they now grab their first point of the day.
Definitely a little bit more lackluster. And I actually think this mirrors yesterday relatively well, right? Where you're looking at a team, NIP, going up against the #1 seed that has been sitting up there, someone who you expect to potentially just take it as a 3-0, and they kept it as a close set. Same thing, SK versus G2. Then you come into the second set, and it slows down a little bit because SK are a little, not only demoralized, but they're a little worried because now things are a little bit more on the line. If they mess up here, that makes a big difference. The difference is that Renegades don't seem to be slowing down for them. They want to go full action.
It's no doubt about that. And time is of the essence here. Power Siphon and the reversal, they both just go down at the same time. They just call it quits. Stalemate. A gentleman's stalemate there. Moonchopper misses the dead zone, so he won't get the damage from Nightshade. And he's used his seedling as well, so a little bit of room for Bitey and Vocal to make for themselves, and they will. Clicky's going to get seeded up. He is not willing to bet on a non-seedling, non-dead zone Willow. And they're just going to wait till the cooldowns are up. Loki's actually going to trade spots, and Bitey's just going to time that one out a little bit better than him. Another kill for him. 6 streak. He will go down here, though, but it was a good round and a good run for the captain.
And honestly, Bitey doing as much as he could to really pave that way. I think the entire, like the point, for the most part, is captured by him just because of the kills, the impact he was able to have. A lot of the fight, even though it's been augmented, you see Cassie getting some damage, Bomb King getting some damage. It feels like Bitey has kind of been the center for SK right now. And again, kind of on the opposite side of what we saw during set 1, where you do see Invocal and Payan really doing this double team strategy that they just had that looked perfect and clean, crisp for them. Now, not going anywhere near smooth.
Well, they've got 30 seconds to try to make this worthwhile, to where you feel that, you know, maybe this is going to be a game. Maybe this is going to be a set that SK can take. I think still everyone, even watching, is, I mean, are Renegades really as strong as they were coming out the gate? Have SK stabilized? Is this them getting warm, getting over that hump? Now just realizing they just got to play some old-fashioned Paladins? It's a big bomb. Payan wastes a little bit of time. Could have been finding some high ground targets, and he will now. Find a few bombs on a viral. It's really shutting down Loki that needs to happen. He's going to use that Poppy Bomb just to escape. No reanimate from Dethroner, and it will be a 3-1.
I think the big difference between the start of these two sets, and honestly just the feel from SK, you could tell Game 1 against G2 was a statement to be made. Right now, Renegades are the ones making the statement, but everyone's already heard the statement.
Yeah,
and they're like, we're going to beat SK, and everyone's like, that's kind of what we already assumed.
That's right.
You don't have to scream at us. You can just say, hey, guys, we're going to go play some Paladins.
We're going to go play some Paladins. Notably, Cassie and Androxus about 33 damage away from each other. 52,093, 52,060, respectively, between the Cassie and the Androxus. Interesting how Invocal and Loki are so close to matching each other there. Fury is still leading the healing charts. And the Renegades, well, blazing a path towards victory. One more round will do it. Cassie Scout gets the vision for SK. They know Loki's creeping around the backside, but oh boy, Wi-Fi's not really done anything about it, and it's going to be an accursed arm.
That's the one that was kind of missing during the last round, being able to get the healer as well. That's 3 kills right off the bat, looking to be 4, maybe even 5 right here, especially if Reanimate doesn't come through, and I don't expect it to with that kind of a wipe.
Yeah, it shouldn't be reanimated here, and I think that's the stronghold. That's what you want to see. I think in Mouse Sports, I noticed that they will reanimate in that situation as a team. They will go for that, and they will try to push. They will try to pressure and apply maybe offensive pressure to relieve NTBs if he's in that role. But Throner, I think, smartly going to try to walk back. 99 is not going to get you the victory. You need it now, but you didn't force any cooldowns. That's the biggest problem. You can reversal it right back, and oh man, that's the one guy that you need to get off the point. That's the one counter to that reanimate that just not only just doesn't keeps him safe, but also immediately turns away that advantage. Moonchopper with a triple. Renegades. Relatively easy game 1 victory.
Even knowing that reversal was coming, that's still like, oof, that hurts. Like, just that much damage being flung out. First off by Terminus, and then just full health stands up. This guy who is almost impossible to kill otherwise, instantly deleted. Like, it was nothing. Like, he might as well not have even stood up. And it's painful to know that you're in this area. Like you said, you just have to get rid of that Androxus going into this, because otherwise you don't have really anything to do once you stand back up.
A lot of charts here. Some people are going to pick out some of the things they find most important. Shielding, objective control, credits per minute. That's not something we really harp on very often, but great information. Even just a screenshot for coaches and just pick apart as to what could have gone wrong. What cards should we maybe have substituted here? Maybe what items should we have invested in? And Loki was, well, he was on point. He was phenomenal today. 13-5.
He was on point by mostly avoiding the point. There was so much time, and this again goes back to the fact that they went master riding early on. Him and ClickU, their instant decision was, we're just going to go behind SK the first round so they don't even know what's going on. They're not going to look at the items, or even if they do, they're not going to expect us to be that aggressive. And so you get into the back line, you get a really quick kill, just like that. It's a little faster than I think he was
master
actually
riding,
but still
12.
Going to be able to get there. And this was the kind of performance they had. Invocal was never in the fight for that entire point.
You know, and I feel a little demoralized for Invocal because, again, you go 31 and, what, 9 or 7 or something like that? And at that point, you just have to say, what else are you guys needing from me?
Yeah.
As a damage dealer to win? I mean, I think that G2 esports game, that's just, you know, that's the stuff that stays with you. You have to be so mentally strong to move on. And even if you're mentally strong, man, you can't let that one slip that day sometimes, you know, and it just creeps in your mind and you just say, just to close it out here, maybe if we just had this ultimate go a different way, if we just focus on Vex, we focus on Cuss all game, you know, all those little things. I think it's still seeping into SK, and that was a little bit of an easier matchup as we head into maps for game 2. I think that we won't necessarily see, maybe in the future, maybe on a fresh day, SK falls so behind on Stone Keep to Renegades. Might be a little bit more of an even match.
Going to Jaguar Falls, SK, again, you're looking at 2 maps that just did not go their way, and you're coming right back here. But, again, this opens up some things that were working well for them at the beginning of the last set. Tyra is something that we have seen on this map find a lot of success in the past. Yesterday, got a quadra kill, so you do have that note of a predecessor being able to accomplish that. The question is whether or not you actually want to go for it, or if Renegades at this point are going to get something similar and they get rid of the Androxus and the Willow, because that was just so strong last game for Renegades.
Well, you know, I think this is the point as well. It's where North America hasn't comes to a head with Europe. I think the bigger thing is that Na'Vi, Fnatic, you just don't see these types of bans because they don't necessarily ban as like, oh man, you just had a good game with 2 champions we know are good in the meta. Let's just immediately ban them out. I think you're going to see your Torvalds, you're going to see your Khans, you're going to see these champions are going to be open. You're going to have to play them. You're going to have to fit them in. And you're going to have to be less reactionary. That Eevee ban might have been the thing that, in that set versus G2, felt reactionary. That wasn't warranted. Albeit we have seen EU ban Eevee, but it's just got to have something change. And you know what? I don't mind SK going for the change. It worries me how reactionary it is and how many of their bans have been that way.
At least getting some comfort picks, Cassie, Makoa, Fernando, nothing too out of the ordinary for them just yet. But I mean, Khan, Drogoz, Barrack, Maldamba, and this is the best thing I think I've seen Renegades do, because you don't really know what that last pick is going to be. You can have a feeling it's probably going to be something a little bit more hit scan, maybe it's going to be Leon, but it opens up Renegades to be able to say, we're going to pick the perfect counter for whatever you grab.
I think it's also been really strange to see no Leon, in North America.
Yeah, right?
Where's that gone? And why are you suddenly thinking that she's not still Leon? You know what I mean? That to me is also very surprising. I think could be something that is utilized later on, or maybe something that's being forgotten. And to be fair to SK as well, as I do, Willow and Androxus, especially Androxus, are things you will see banned. You will see them banned. You will see them prioritized. It just, to me, my sense was that it was more of a reaction, as we saw the Eevee ban as a reaction to what Evil Eye pulled out.
You know, we always talk about Leon because Death and Taxes is really strong. You get that instant cauterize, and that allows her to go into Wrecker, so she kind of brings the best of both worlds. And I'm actually, okay, everything I was about to say gets taken down almost immediately by Loki there. I was going to say, if you go Sapper rounds, you get the same thing, but in reverse. You get to go for the cauterize early on.
Right.
But he has not gone for, or he's going for Sapper rounds, but he's also gotten...
He can't. Well,
Wrecker.
maybe he is.
And if he does this, it's one thing, because you absolutely burn shields like nothing. But you lose that cauterize effect across a couple
that seems
members.
odd. That just seems real odd to me. I don't know if I'm a fan of that.
I think the
You
only
need
other person I've seen do this
225% record, not 150? That doesn't work for you?
was Hecate has run this once in the past. I remember seeing it, but it was in a LATAM PAGS, so it wasn't even like a game that was like, I must win for you.
I don't know. It's interesting. Definitely a choice. It's a choice.
We just have to see how it works
Yeah,
out.
let's see how it works. 45% for Renegades here. That's Yomi, and that gets good damage onto Loki and Viral. They're going to have to back away from the hallway, and Vocals cleared some space for Dethroner to work out of. And you can see, I mean, yes, that shield is melting. We knew that was going to happen with Sapper Rounds regardless, and now Sapper Rounds and Wrecker, you can guarantee it, buddy. But they need to find Dethroner on some confident picks here. He's got to find some hooks. He opens this up, and he gets a nice little shell slide. The spin to win, so to speak, but it has not won him anything yet. First Blood still goes to Click You because it's the Khan who is available. It was the Androxus and the Willowwind band. The Khan was let through. And boy, oh boy, has this started to snowball for them.
Being able to push themselves forward, Viral, Moonchopper getting a couple kills. Click You is in the perfect position, dashes forward excellently to be able to protect Loki. And again, if you're looking at one person to keep alive, you need the guy with 70 rounds who's going to eliminate any shield that might be in his way. And admittedly, I think anybody else who also might be in his way.
Let's see it. I just want to watch Loki's perspective as the shield actually gets thrown up. How fast does he bring it down? And does he invest
Here's the secret.
in
Maybe
Record 2 and Record 3?
Maybe you've already seen how fast the shields go down.
Yeah. You
They
just can't see it.
get eliminated. I actually think that's part of what's happening. If Furia is running, and most Furias do have that loadout just to make sure you apply a little bit of a shield with your heal, you're not going to see that right now. That is going to get instantly taken down. Plus, you get this ult. That's going to give you even more damage on top of it.
I got to see this. I mean, Loki is definitely bringing out the Vivian. And this is something that it's been a little bit more of a meme style of, wow, you're running Vivian and more of a console. We've seen it work.
Yeah.
And then PC has started to really get some value. And people have really started to find just the benefit of having more of a backline damage dealer.
He's doing his best Wonderful cosplay right now, and honestly,
Yes.
it's playing exactly the same way. It's very clean. He's sitting in the back. He's getting a lot of damage. There go the turrets, only at 30% regained
See ya.
off of them.
Oh, man.
Well, it doesn't really matter because you're trying to burn down the ult, you're trying to get aggressive, and the entire time he is sending 70 shots into your noggin.
Into your noggin. That's
Yeah.
a good one. I guess that was not fast enough. I mean, you know, it did take like a second and a half to kill all of Bitey's 8,000 shield.
Gotta go Wrecker 3. I mean, that's the only obvious route.
That's the only obvious choice, especially when you have a Drogo's just doing stuff like that. Loki on a 9 streak. He hasn't, I don't think, died to be able to go back and buy. So I don't know if he's going to jump off now. Are they going to regroup? This kind of presence of mind that he's got. He has not died. He's 4-0-5. And I want to check the items one more time to see if Moonchopper, has anyone else gone into... Oh my god, Moonchopper's gone to Record 2. Really, guys? Where do you...
They are
Where do you run
so
a Decimate Drogos, huh?
worried about
Extra damage to shields?
whether or not those shields are going to be there. And admittedly, I mean, there's a lot of shielding on the side of SK, but there's not going to be much anymore. So I guess they're accomplishing their goal. And admittedly,
man.
with the way these kills are going, they have enough damage outside of it. I don't know if the healing from Fury is actually going to be enough to make up for that.
I mean, you know what? It's overbearing. That's what it is. It's absolutely overbearing. And I like it. It's just meaning like one of your abilities doesn't work, buddy. Whether it's Drogos or whether it's Vivian, we have you covered. We're Geico. We're nationwide. We're always there.
5, 4,
Always by your side?
2,
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
The shield is never by your side.
The
It's
shield
the
is
opposite
never.
of nationwide.
Yeah, but we're always there. We've got coverage 24/7, map to map, end to end, Jag to War, Fop to Alls.
It's also pushing a lot of pressure. So Dethroner is a great example. What he just did, yes, they get the defense. Yes, they push it back. But there were several times that the Dethroner's in the fight. Typically, you throw up your shield as Makoa, and you're pretty safe for a little bit. If things get dangerous from there, then you dash out. Every single time he throws up his shield right now,
Right.
his reflex immediately is to dash because it's been getting targeted so heavily. So far, it's not working the best for Renegades, and
Right.
I'm curious to see where Loki goes with it. But that is
Coverage,
going to make
baby.
an impact on you.
It is. Yeah, it's going to change your playstyle.
points
Record
won in
2?
15 seconds.
Wow. All right. So that wasn't fast enough. We figured out that killing 8,000 shielding in like a second and a half was not fast enough for Loki, so he needs to go Record 2
3,
and now have, what,
2,
300% extra
1.
damage to shields? What? Yeah,
Is it
something like that.
300, 325, somewhere in there.
325.
Yeah.
Yeah.
325% extra damage to shields.
That's special.
And
That's
then
special.
you're dealing regular damage to everybody under the shield.
Listen, he's a man of subtlety. He doesn't overplay it. You know, he just does exactly how much is needed, and no more.
We're not going overboard. It's not 600% here. Come on.
Yeah, guys.
Just 300.
What do you think? Hey, I'm going 800%? Come on now. It's just 300%. It's fine. And ClickU rightfully with the spray. It's just been so hard for them to keep lock tabs on not only Vivian, but then the Drogos, and then the Khan. I mean, SK have a very, very tough task here. And so far, despite a very good defensive effort from the boys, and they've rallied, the point fight has looked pretty dismal.
Being able to hold on this, ClickU finally
big,
going
though.
down. That should be the pick that could open up the door, and especially with an Immortal being used, you lose Loki, so the shielding is going to stay up a little bit longer. Moonchopper does have a little bit to burn it down himself, but now the damage is going to be shifting over. The numbers are in favor of SK as long as they can keep that pressure applied. Renegades might not make it back, but it's 93-21, and it's still 1-1. No comeback mechanic. You have to fight this fully on equal ground.
And here's a salvo spit coming through from Moonchopper. It's not enough. He did get a little bit of firing line love. He's going to get it now. And they're going to empower him. And so he's going to try to go in. They have to touch the point. Someone has touched. Oh, not quite yet. And it is going to be Hero. He's going to go in there. So now he doesn't have the dome shield, but he's just got the overtime. Here's the Dragon's Punch. And this is what they were waiting for, to give Moonchopper just a line of sight that would protect him. And that is what has happened. He has found the kill. And that is Renegades now. It was a very smart decision because a lot of players would have just immediately, when he was by himself, tried to just Dragon Punch and kill the Throner right there, but he waited till he had his teammates behind him.
It's got to be a little demoralizing as well as SK when you're in this position where your Drogo's performance that you just had on Jaguar Falls is nowhere near what Moonchopper is being able to accomplish. I mean, even just one hit ultimate is going to be a step above. And the fact that you had to fight against a Cassie, the fact that this Drogo's is fighting against a Cassie, but you just recognize that, man, Renegades aren't having anywhere near as much trouble as we had. You know in your mind that it's kind of, our level of play isn't hitting that note anymore. We're not having that impact that we were just having 5 games ago, essentially. Where did we drop off?
Yeah. And right now, Viral finding a nice kill on the Throner. It's based on an overpower from ClickU, so that's what set it up. One of the reasons you see Khan banned so often is just firing line is from the beginning. It was love at first sight. And I think every player who's ever played Paladins for more than a few hours realized just how dang good that was going to be. And then he got buffed as well. And so this has all been reasons why Khan is now mostly a ban. If not, a very prioritized first pick here as a front line. The Primus of House Ico. Nowhere for the Scion of House Ico today. Leon has been unpicked, but Renegade 60 seconds left to try and make something happen and turn into a 3-1.
Every single time that shield goes up, I can almost hear Viral just being like, nice shield! How's it going up there?
Hey, yo, how's the shield, the Throne?
It's just
Hey, yo, Bitey, how's that shield doing?
so unimpactful to see them go up. And that's exactly what you want, is for them to think, man, do I even pop my shield here? Is it even going to make a difference? Reactionary, you're going to, but at the end of the day, you're going to be sitting there thinking, man, our shielding, it's actually going to be relatively high because all the damage being dealt to it, but it's not protecting anybody.
And here's why, you know, here's the joke if you're not getting it, or I guess the bigger question marks, right? Because you have enough to deal with the shields just in your talent zap rounds. It is enough. It's like record 2, basically. So the issue is you're giving up Cauterize potential with a Solar Blessing Furia. And so you're either saying, in my opinion, as overtime starts, that you just can't possibly, even with Cauterize 3, shut down a Solar Blessing heal. Which, they don't have an Inara, so I don't know if that's true. Because I think Inara's, with her natural 60% kind of rejuvenate, plus the actual rejuvenate, you truly can negate a 90% Cauterize. But it's not the same with Makoa and Fernando, I think. And so I think if you're going off of that premise, it maybe is incorrect in my view. And you may not be able to go full wrecker and just get the most value out of a fight, and that's why they're not being able to kill these guys towards the end. The Solar Blessing is just keeping the Throner and Bitey alive, shields or no shields. The healing is coming through, and they don't have a great way to stop it.
Could we take a peek at what Moonchopper's running in his loadout? because I'm wondering if this is all kind of built up on, follow the scent. If that's kind of the theory of, well, we're going to be applying this with combustible, maybe we don't need to worry about it as much. But again, 75%, like you were saying, 90% is something that you can overcome with this Fury heal. So 75 is going to feel pretty lackluster in comparison. Yes, Click You, Hero are going to be applying it, but are their Cauterize 3 is going to be enough?
Right.
At least for one kill at the beginning, yes, but overall, in terms of these fights, the sustain from SK has been solid.
I'm just saying that, if you look at Furious healing with Solar Blessing, and you say that 10% of it is 600 health a second. Well, if you take another 10%, right, you're at 1,200 health a second. You still have more healing you're going to add on top of that, maybe around 1,600 health a second if you're only at 75% anti-heal. There's no way you're going to get out of that. And I think Hero is lucky to get out of that spike coming through from Invocal, but the healing right now for SK is enough to at least encourage this fight to continue. He's going to have to billow on. Renegades are in a great position, Gormeister, to still control what they need to.
I mean, this is a flashback to the last round, right? A triple kill this time around for Bitey, so that's going to be something that I guess stands out.
Oh, they don't see
but
him?
It's 99 to 30. 99 on the side of Renegades. All they have to do is what they've been doing all game, which is displace SK and step on the point for a second. It's going to be a little bit closer, and you can see the damage is coming through, but they've got that multifaceted approach. They're going to be able to hit so many people at so many different angles, and the damage is so solid that SK can't handle it.
Wow, Payin finding 2. Click You now has to go in and try and just shut down Payin, but Invocal's in the back line, and he finds Loki. SK Gaming finally find the Solar Blessing they've been looking for. Renegades, they go all in on the shields, but at the end of the day, they just don't have enough anti-heal to stop these front lines from staying alive and getting these resets onto the Zen, and Vocal starts to take over. 12 streak for him, and now it's 3-2, SK in charge.
I feel like if there was just one more Cauterize, it would be making a little bit more of a difference.
Right.
But with the way things have been going, Renegades are definitely feeling the brunt of it. I mean, there was a lot of really good damage, and like you said, it all comes down to that Solar Blessing. Once it hits, if it hits the right area with that increased radius,
right,
everyone who's standing right there, it is the fountain of life.
The Throner, go in on him, boy! He's gonna swing his way to victory, potentially. He's shrugging that one off viral. He's already used this other. He's trying to body block. No, he gets it back. But oh my god, nice combo there. Smooth, confident. SK Gaming, they want to win right now.
They have the potential. Honestly, turning it around all in one round.
Oh my.
Being able to pick that up. They're walking around the corner. Everyone on Renegades is patiently waiting to come out, but they have to get out right now. They need to get on this payload to stop in 1 minute and 20 seconds. It is going to be coming incredibly close to the chest, but here comes the Dragon Punch, and that should be dethroned.
Oh, he got him! Oh! Payin dodges away, and it's an Immortal from Bitey to keep his front line, his damage alive, and also to keep his front line alive. Dethroner trying to get another hook, and that will set things up. Loki is the one that they would most likely want to grab here because that would pit front lines against damage dealers and front lines, so they're just going to back off. They're going to hold. They realize they've got a good thing going, and they don't want to sacrifice it all. Loki finds a kill off the retreat. That will delay them a little bit longer, but oh boy, SK are so close to turning this game around and getting themselves a win, doing what G2 did to them on Ascension Peak.
This is probably one of the harder parts to try and come back into, though. This is going to be not only an archway that is great at defense, but also a very big choke point for teams having to collapse in if you want to get towards the payload. So SK are going to have to come at this one big. They already used a lot of their ults, so I wouldn't be upset if the next 20 seconds are, how do we get our ults back as fast as possible, at least get the highest charge we can. Inflame is almost up, which could be an ender, but it could also be the way you start the next round.
Imagine, oh my god, they might get Click You here. They might get Click You here. He's going with the Wings of Wrath just to try and get an angle to heal the Throner. He knows he can't find him yet. Solar Blessing up in 2 seconds. 5 seconds now for the clock to go. There's the heal, and now he's looking for the Solar Blessing. It is going to land, and this is perfect because Bitey's going to get back, get a full health kill. That's Payin finding Drogo. Smooth Chopper will go down. This could be another one. Hero is looking down. It's the Inflame. Gore, they're trying to go for it. This is SK trying to finish it off.
There goes the beam. The heal's going to be good, but unfortunately it's just off the point. They do get rid of Click You. They're looking for the pressure. Bitey and the Throner are still alive and still picking up kills.
My goodness. Moonchopper with maybe the biggest play to Throner. He's going to get taken down by the Dragon. Can Zen do it? Moonchopper with a triple kill. He's going to show up, man up, dragon up, and he's going to find himself the delay of time. SK Gaming at the door of victory, turned away, denied by the Moon Chopper Police.
Coming into the last round, you're doing well. SK has been phenomenal, but they just used Inflame. It's not going to be up for a good chunk of this round. The same thing goes for pretty much all of their huge ultimates that are going to be game-changing. You still have the Dragon Punch. You still have the Overpower. You can get rid of 2 people on SK at the very beginning of this round. But Renegades were at 99% the entirety of the last point, and it didn't make a difference. SK are good at holding on to what they grab. They keep an iron grip. The question is whether or not it's starting to slip. Do they still have the gloves? Are they blistering?
Yeah.
Where's it going?
And is someone going to sacrifice themselves? That's the question. Is someone going to sacrifice themselves to try to outplay this con? 15%, you do not want to just let him get on the objective like that. 24%. Maybe Bitey has a strategy here, trying to fight in the dark room. Misses a fireball into the backline target, which he was looking for. Solar Blessing is in play, getting full heal. Pressured out. He's looking for a fireball. Misses. Oh, the flank is happening. ClickU is closing in. Gore, 45%. It's all of Renegades making that move. SK rotating as well. This is the Jaguar Falls. Loop-de-doop here. Oh, and Bitey is in trouble. He needs a heal now.
Overpowered, gonna be used. Wi-Fi gonna get taken down, but there's the Immortal to keep him alive.
Oh,
and there's
baby.
the Dome Shield in return. ClickU goes down, but so does Wi-Fi. Hero eliminated, but Loki picking up kills, still alive. Dragon Punch gonna connect at the end there. Bitey goes down.
I can't believe it. Zen goes back in, and Vocal, he can't finish him off. It's Viral and Moonchopper. They're going to be on a 6th streak, and it's the Throner whose shields will fall. And we thought it might have been the Cauterize, the anti-heal, that would have made the difference. But no. It's the shields that come into play again. ClickU, Renegades, they're still on the point, and SK trying to just touch. They will. They'll get a chance, but Gore, is it going to be enough?
Bitey doing whatever he can to try and hold on to this, but his health is getting decimated right now. Taken down towards the end, and Flame has been popped, but it's not enough in terms of damage. Moonchopper, one more shot, and Vocal gonna be able to make it out of there alive, but not for long.
Moonchopper, he has been the difference on the defense, on the offense. Renegades gotta be thanking this man. He can't be cooking them dinner tonight. They gotta be treating him for drinks, dinner, and an after party, because Moonchopper is the reason Renegades are still in this one and take game. God, please game number 4, right?
2. But potentially 2/3 of the way there if Renegades can keep this up. And honestly, I mean, let's face it, you're SK, you're at the doorstep. You are literally walking in, your foot is right over the threshold, and then a dragon comes out of nowhere and just decks you out the door, pushes you back down onto the path, the walkway up, and then you just keep getting pushed back until you're back in the street.
Back in the street, and then it's like it's street sweeping day, and the street sweeper comes through and
it just happened to be the same dragon that just punched you out of the doorway.
Oh my God, look at these stats here. I mean, the amount of healing from Wi-Fi, 253. I mean, he made that Solar Blessing at the end, the Pyre Strike that just hit Bitey in the Dome Shield. I thought, man, that might have been the play of time. And it just wasn't enough. And, you know, they go for a little bit of a risk. They go for just such a focus with these damage dealers where we'll sometimes see the Cauterize, sometimes expect it to be there, and they just trusted ClickU and Hero to stay alive, to stay involved. Moonchopper to apply these fire spits, even though in the direct shots it wasn't happening. And he shows up big, man. I mean, those kills at the end of that round and those kills in the beginning of round number 4, that's the difference in why he's positive in his KD. That's why he's 14-9.
And the spread he had, right? He was very confident. That's one of the things I think that came through. There was also one ult at the very end that I don't think it was going to connect until SK kind of back up into him. He's coming around the side. He ends up in the best position to connect. And it's just another kill that they add onto the board. And because how many had already fallen, it's just another box on his checklist of, yep, okay, we can get this point.
Yeah, and it's really, I mean, you look at it, and it's like, it's a team effort, but it's the defensive hole that sets up the final round. Because SK, they win the 3rd out of 4th round. They're planning with that Inflame to go ahead and move, and there's no reason they shouldn't be winning that game. A triple kill saves it. Bitey gets taken down. This is the play. He gets basically 2 people diving at him, finally gets taken down, and that was a result of Viral as well. Maybe a couple more ticks, maybe the last tick there might have done it. But boy, oh boy, Moonchopper with performance for the PPL's history there to at least seal off the game. And if they end up winning this set, and this set means the difference in getting 3rd, you're going to come back and say, wow, that's an impressive one that we were able to witness.
To the note, everything about that, like that Drogo's pretty much from like that triple kill on is the way you want to perform, and more than likely will not be able to attain. That is like the goal when you start picking up Drogo's, is how do I hit this? Moonchopper makes it look good. He's been doing it for the last split, and this split I think he's going to keep going.
All right, well, I guess we're ready for maps.
Where do you go now? Like, what's your choice of your SK?
Map number 3. I mean, Renegades, SK have lost. The SK haven't lost. They've lost in the worst way possible. Yes. They have lost in the absolute most demoralizing way possible. But I hope they're not demoralized. I mean, we're saying that because, you know, everyone's got hopes, put stuff. But they may be actually talking to each other and saying, guys, that was good. Hey, hell of a day. Hell of a day. I mean, we are here to play.
I will say there is actually a distinct difference in losing and, like, when you get tilted versus having a good game and losing. Like, you know, you go through and you're like, man, we lost, but, like, I enjoyed the way we lost. Like, it was a hard-fought win. The other team just played out of their minds.
Right.
And it's, like, I guess a respectful loss. But, you know, it's like, you know what? We lost. We deserve that loss because you just played ridiculously well. So if they're in that kind of mentality, this is probably the best place to go. This is a comfortable map for them. We just saw them take G2 on this. So if they can repeat that kind of performance and they're comfortable there, maybe Renegades are looking at Game 4, Game 5.
Hey, I don't know. It feels like SK have a lot to do, especially if they're going to believe that they're going to reverse sweep in this best of 5. Especially with the way today's gone, I don't think anybody can see it happening. But
don't just win another game. Win 3 more in a row.
Yeah. After losing 2 in a row. And also, you know, after this, having a devastating loss against G2 and the way that transpired. So I like the Zen. I think I like the choice for that. And Vocals look good. Pains look good on that regard. Makoa and Dethroner have looked great. And it's the Grover here that's going to be the big question mark. I'm expecting a little bit of efflorescence, but I would not be, no, it's got to be efflorescence. There's no way it's not.
They're going for heals.
There's no way it's not.
Yeah. It'd be nice. I want to see Grover. So one of the things that, I mean, Deep Roots, obviously the new one, is going to be effective, I think, in the right composition. And I feel like it's going to fall into place where we used to see Ferocity, where it's perfect in certain scenarios if they get a certain composition, similar to what I was saying Snow Globe Eevee kind of fits into. But right now, we want a healer that's good on Splitstone. Something that originated on Splitstone is going to be Viral, Grover, Efflorescence. Getting this heals, it's going to be very solid. And they're going again for the Sapper rounds as well as the 2 Wreckers. But the difference is that both of these front lines aren't going cauterized. Fernando, I guess, doesn't need it as much because the Brand's coming with the Fireball. But is that going to be effective? Follow the Scent, Fireball, or Brand together might make up for the lack of cauterize.
Yeah. 9% here for Renegades already on the board. That's a good way to start it off.
Trying to find whatever damage they can. Shields are going to be a non-factor. Looking at Ruckus, that's honestly how he survives half the time. The dashes are going to be good, but even just popping up like that, you can see a shield coming through, and that's usually what gives him that second life, that ability to persist as much as he normally does. Saparans and Wrecker are going to make him effectively, not necessarily useless, but it's going to be dangerous for him to show his head.
Moonchopper finding a kill onto Invocal again. Just so much Drogos time and practice and comfort, and this is a great map for him, and you have your front lines peeling in a way that just really makes you feel comfortable. And you know, the Ruckus ban last game, I don't know if that's something we'd see across the board. I'm not sure if we'd see that in Europe. I think we might see him taken, but banned, especially when you're not banning a con, obviously Renegades trying to hold that position open for themselves, which ended up working out, but I don't know. Bitey taking it here, it's a decent choice. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to overcome what Renegades have with the Efflorescence, with the Grover control, and with this Vivian that just seems to be fitting so well into Loki and the Renegades playstyle.
Again, being able to pick up something that I feel like, again, we saw more out of console. I've seen it a few times in Latin America. Hecate has run Vivian in the past, but it's always kind of felt like not only a console-oriented champion, but someone that you would pick up and try out and be like, yeah, she's all right, but like we could also do something similar with X. Yeah. Being able to kind of transition, like, why are we looking at Vivian versus a cast? Why are we looking at Vivian versus Victor, even, if you're going for someone who's going to have an auto rifle like that? And it is that Sapper rounds. That does make the biggest difference. If your enemy has gone for these shields, and once again, you're looking at a relatively shield-heavy lineup from SK, at least in terms of the Makoa as well as the Ruckus, you want to burn down those as fast as possible because that's what gives them that survivability that makes them such a nuisance.
Minute and 30 now. Vogel in the back line, or at least his relative back line. Blickyu trying to make his way into the defensive corner, and Vogel really holding it down here. And I wonder if this Zen will be something that we see more often. It's something that we saw in North America try to utilize towards the end of the Masters LAN of this final summer split, but it wasn't as effective as it had been in the earlier parts of the year in the spring. And I think that this is maybe some of the opportunities where we see pro players who are watching say, yes, this has potential. He's not playing it right, but we know we can fit this in. Oh, I like what we've seen. Clearly, it's good in this matchup. Or this is where we kind of see it's like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And they make their decisions pretty hard. I think we will see a little bit less than we have before, but I think there is going to be a moment where he works.
It feels like he has a home, but honestly, I'm not sure if I'm feeling it right here. Even last map, it felt a lot more comfortable just because of where the Yomi strikes were hitting, where they were connecting, the control they had. But as of right now, again, you're on a map that is very vertical based. It's got 3 different levels around the point, and you don't have a lot of vertical mobility at all. You have to ult if you want to be able to get up there. So your flank status as a flanker gets to be in jeopardy, whereas your status is kind of maybe long-range poke is going to be, I think, your identity for that point fight. Even right now, though, there's not much he can do. He's just getting channeled into corners, pushed away into side rooms. A couple of kills coming through for SK might stop this push, but Renegades look just as comfortable now as they did last map.
Yeah, I don't see why they would be stopping here. There is a potential for Hero, despite getting healed up, to go for something like an Immortal, and so he just going to let that one go through. SK Gaming defend successfully on Splitstone Quarry. And this is a decider match for this set. If they go ahead and get the game here, it's going to be Renegades who turn it around, have some miraculous performances, and claim a 1-0 start in their PPL season. SK trying to pull off the reverse sweep, and so far 1-1, holding on the defense there.
Similar start to Jag Falls as this map, right? Very well mirrored overall. Composition's kind of similar when it comes down to it. Renegades take a point lead. They don't get the push fully. It feels kind of like, man, maybe it's the Wrecker with all of the sapper rounds. Like, why are you going this to cauterize? Yeah. We could have that conversation again. But at the same time, I feel like what we're seeing is Renegades, again, playing that long con. Like, they're not looking at the, how do we get a 2-0, 3-0. Yeah, 4-0 is nice, but they're like, how do we get to the point where we can guarantee a win? Yeah. This is a longer map. We have a little bit more room to play with. Even if they defend, as long as we control the point and this percentage, we're set.
Blickyu flexing onto the barrack and making a very strong showcase for one of the better players in the PPL in general, just overall. A superstar for his team. We talked about him being a franchise-like player for the Renegades. It truly is. And something that they play around. And also, in many ways, he plays around. Spite's going to miss. Great dodge by Loki, and you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
You know how we always talk about Vivian having low mobility?
Yeah.
She still has just enough to be able to dodge a Spite, and keeping that alive, you immediately get to turn that into this impact. The Sentinels are going to be up. The burn is coming through. Loki is looking for blood right now, not even for mercy being given to SK.
You know, Vivian, not a lot of movement speed, but she's got that traffic jam booty, man. She'll turn your head to the left, to the right.
And then you'll get
all disoriented. Yeah. That's what it is. Zen got caught looking. And unfortunately, he was cooked right after that. Loki making sure that his champion does not miss out on DPS opportunities. 2 minutes now, and Renegades will capture the second one. It's been quite a day of the PPL here in North America. Their first launch, it's been a trial for SK. I don't know if SK fans are happy with this. It's a bit bittersweet, you would say.
I will say, I guess I'm not necessarily partial to any team when it comes down to it. I like seeing them perform well, because generally I like watching people be happy, and they're happier when they're performing well. SK, even if they lose this game, and they lose this set and it's a 3-0,
Yeah.
should be damn proud of the games they have had today, because even at the end of the day, if you walk away with a loss, they have done more in these 2 sets than I saw them do in the summer split, than I saw them do in the spring split, than they were even
I
able to
agree.
accomplish, because they never came to land, so they never got that showcase.
I agree.
I think this is something that if you're looking at a seed to build on, a foundation to go for the rest of the split on, this is a good way to start it, even though, for all we know, this one win for Renegades might be the difference of land or not.
You're right. I think that's what makes it so interesting. It is potentially a must-win for these teams. You could look back in Week 5 and say, oh man, that was the game that decided it all. This is the head-to-head matchup right here. And it's just who gets off to a better start. And, you know, it's the end of the season, so you can't really say that you haven't had a chance. You've had all year. And now finally making some adjustments. I've liked Pan early. He's fallen off a little bit, but definitely a lot to work with. Very good player, you can tell. I've loved Dethroner. I think his debut has been excellent. I don't think you can really take much away from him, despite the results. Done everything a front lines wanted. Ancient Rage here just to hold, and well, the Drogo's going to back off. He sees the Hexifier. He knows he has 16 seconds left. Great hook just to keep Hero in place. It's going to be a 4v5 now.
9.
And it's going to be, I think, a 5v3.
6.
Wow, they can't find the kill.
4. 3.
I mean, this is still alive. I don't know if it should be. Bowling Ball. Yeah, there it is.
They're looking for the reset, trying to get in. Viral's around the corner.
Yeah.
Moonchopper's here, but you're not looking at them at tanking, especially all of SK.
Right.
Even if they have enough healing, I just don't think it's going to go through. You don't want to use your ults, but you do burn Ancient Rage right at the tail end. You get Dethroner to play that. And, you know, speaking of Dethroner, like you had said, I honestly, up until this point, most of my opinion on his play, everything that had been going, was based on the one PPL game that he got to play in the summer. Because even, you know, when you watch streams, if you hear about scrims and stuff, you never truly know how someone plays until you see him competitively. But this has been a completely different environment. It has been a great fill. And I'm happy that SK have picked this up because it feels like they are finally taking steps in the right direction. We talk about them being one of the top teams, one of the best teams that we've seen in the past. But in the near past, that hasn't been the case. Now, finally taking those steps, and they're getting real close to having those stellar performances. I'm so excited to see them play Splice and see them play Envy and just see the matchups they're going to have over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's going to be really exciting. For those who maybe want to take a look at what Loki's running, I'm pretty sure that you'll see him running a little bit of one step ahead. Yeah, level 5 movement speed. He's healing for 25% of the damage dealt to shields, and that is something interesting. So this is really where he's getting his sustain from. Runic Ammunition. And maybe just trying to get that full heal back very quickly. It's a great lineup to go. It's a great card to go against a Ruckus kind of Fernando composition, right? Even a Makoa, Fernando. Right now, Ruckus, Makoa. It's decent. It's decent because Vivian doesn't really have a lot of other cards that she hinges on aside from at least the movement speed, you know? It's just, you don't really... She's kind of just a gun. She's a gun.
She's a walking gun. And it's one of those things we've actually equated her in the past to Ruckus when it comes down to it. She has a shield that's a little bit worse, but she has a little bit more damage overall. Not as big of a clip, but a lot more with sapper rounds in order to destroy what she's looking at.
Yeah, and for my analogy, it's poor to compare to Ruckus because Ruckus has a lot of cards that mean a lot to how Ruckus is played. But as far as the playstyle, when we were comparing that to, I believe, Wonderful or whoever that was, who just played anything that was like Ruckus, and he would play Vivian, and he would play Moji, and he would, you know, these things. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But in terms of cards, you really, you know, you could have basic deck Vivian, you wouldn't really know the difference between that and the highest level deck you can grab for her, except maybe the movement speed. Biting on a 5 streak, Hexifier, and the emitter goes through. Hexifier again, not used yet. He may not even want to use it. He doesn't have enough health to guarantee he's going to survive. And he's not even going to touch the point. He's going to die the second he does. Renegades now 1 point away from closing out the set.
And each push has gotten a little bit closer every single step of the way. Invocal sitting mysteriously far behind, going to end up getting taken down, but does go down with Loki, of all things. That gives them the reset. SK now have their defense proximity. It's going to be helpful for their base as well as just setup overall of Splitstone to give them this advantage of standing not only around here, but being able to watch over this payload. They can kind of babysit it to make this 2 minutes last as long as possible. The Renegades are looking for blood. They can taste the end of the set right now. So expect them to potentially be on the push.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think this is going to go down. I think this is going to go down, baby. Minute 38 seconds left. There's an Immortal from Bitey.
A little early.
A little
being
early,
forced out.
sure. But again, everything's a little early when
True.
you're not trying to you're not trying to make it happen. Unfortunately, here.
And now they're coming around the last corner. 1 minute and 20 seconds. There's a lot of time. But if Renegades lose even a small fight here, that's going to give them a full reset back to their base, which is going to take a good 30 seconds to get back and feel comfortable, 40 seconds to get even close to the payload. And that's going to be the Ancient Rage coming through. Moonchopper trying to find a target but not connecting with anybody, and now that might make the big difference. A couple of ults have been used by Renegades, and they don't have what they need to close it.
Well, this is going to do it. It seems like it. SK have fought valiantly. It's been a new roster. We've seen Payin and Dethroner make their debuts in the PPL. They've been relatively excellent. SK just been off the mark. It's the little things that make the big differences. And Renegades, they just continue to build on what they've already established. And it's hard to fault SK for losing Renegades. It's a good matchup. And I think that Renegades ultimately take a set that they deserved and now head into the season with a good win over a team that's going to be competing for that third seed that they're going to be going for or higher.
At this point, I think every single set, there's, in the past, I would say sets that I would have called like sleeper sets, you don't need to watch this one, or sets, you can't miss this one. Right now, it's starting to approach, I think every single set's pushing more towards that. You just can't miss it because so much is going to change even in just 3 games for these teams. That could make the big difference. I mean, right here, you have now the 3-0 over SK, but SK was right on their heels for most of that fight. That last one, you could kind of tell the wear and tear was definitely leaning on them. They weren't pushing back as hard, but that's just one of those things. I mean, you just went through so many hard-fought losses that by the end of the day, you're tired.
I mean, I'm having it being difficult too. I think as a viewer and as a fan of SK, if you're in that position, it would be hard to watch this.
Yes.
And I think it would be even hard to play this if you're SK, you know, to be very close. But again, you can't really say that you're playing against guys that should have lost. I mean, ClickU was phenomenal. All of Renegades had performances that were lights out, that were historic career moments here, especially for Moonchopper. Just, you know, that might be a difference. It's 1-1, you know, heading into Game 3. If Moonchopper doesn't get that triple kill towards the end, he doesn't make those big plays in the final round. You know, Renegades just seem like they're in form. They started the season in form. That's rare. A lot of times in football or soccer, you see a team that doesn't get in form until midseason, and then towards the end, that's where you want to start picking it up. But Renegades have started off looking really clean.
And all I can remember is, you know, actually from the beginning of the summer split, talking to Moonchopper when it was just like, okay, you've been with Renegades at that point for like 2 weeks. How does it feel? And he's like, you know, at first it was really kind of weird because it was just a new team. I didn't know what I was playing with, how I was going to fit in. And then he's like, now it's starting to progress as weeks went on. I think even towards the end of the summer split, he was saying it feels like a home, somewhere that I'm happy to be a part of, somewhere I'm happy to play with. And now they've had a couple months since then, even to continue that growth together. And that's the big difference. Even Bitey has mentioned it in the past, where you don't really want to kick anybody, especially coming into a final split like this, where the HRX is on the line, because you need that growth. You need team synergy in order to make land.
Well, let's take a look at the final kind of picture for how it all transpired. It was a rough day for SK, losing both games in their doubleheader, 3-1, 3-0, 1-6 respectively. But G2 and Renegade start off very cleanly and are both the leaders in North America. May not stay that way because Team Envy have a doubleheader heading on towards the end of the week on Friday. But if you want to see where these teams end up and you just know it's going to be awesome, which it will be, make sure to check out highresexpo.com and you can grab your tickets for High Res Expo at DreamHack Atlanta, November 16th through 18th of 2018. That's just in a few months, and we will be excited to be there with you. The Party Boys will be there. See all your favorite casters, all your favorite pros, and I'll be able to hang out. We have Gather Round coming up, our post-game show, where Tom F. Baddinger will be joining us from Smite to talk and break down what we saw today, get our honest thoughts and opinions. So stay around for that, as it is a fun show. Gore and I will be there as well. And, of course, we have a little bit of a video reveal about the tattoo that came through for one of our community managers. So let's send you to that while we prepare for Gather Round. And if you guys stay through, we'll see you in just a few minutes for the post-game show.
Good afternoon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still Tom, but we're here and we're going to be talking Paladins. Long day for Paladins, in all honesty. One of the few times here at Skillshot, we usually do multiple games. We had Realm going on, we had Smite going on, and of course, the most important, the PPL. The Smite boys got out before us, which is a rarity, but what a way to start off the North American scene with 2 big games like this.
I mean, SK had a bit of a nightmare today, and I say that casually because I think if you want to dive into it, it could look like there were moments of glory for some of their, Payan had some really nice games.
Yeah.
Dethroner played out of his mind on Makoa. But I think as far as the results go, it's still the exact opposite of what they were looking for. And for me, I was hoping they'd at least get a win here.
And they end up pretty much in the same spot that they always end up, right? Where it's just like, okay, cool, you came out, you looked great doing it, but I mean, if you're still sitting at 0-2 at the end of the day, you're still going 0-2 at the stat line. But I have promise, I want to say, like I think it's a very promising performance from them for the future, at least.
Yeah.
It's a good loss.
Exactly. And I know I'm the new kid on the block, but I'm going to immediately challenge you right there. Both of you guys kind of said, this loss, I think there's a lot to take away from this when you're a bottom end team.
Yeah.
Look, SK is supposed to lose to G2. That's just the way it happens.
Yeah.
And they were able to come out. They won the first one. The second and third one were pretty close as well. I mean, this was an exemplary performance. I mean, you needed multi-kills coming out from some of the guys on G2. Vex 30 had a standout performance.
Amazing.
If those standout performances didn't happen, we're looking at SK walking away with a victory against the #1 team. Isn't there some homework to be internalized there, Ryan?
I think so. I think the issue here, Tom, for me, is the fact that you have these things going right for G2 at the worst possible time for SK. If it was G2 and Envy that beat SK, cool. But they have this demoralizing loss to G2 right before they play somebody they're competing with for that 3rd seed. And somebody they're competing for LAN. And it's like, you do not want to go into the game that really you can't lose after just being crushed, like your heart, your soul, everything just it's like that scene in Attack on Titan where, I'm not gonna give it away, but somebody's family member gets eaten and you're just like, wow, that'll change you. There's not a happy day at least for a week after that goes down.
No. You're pretty much after, I mean, I'd imagine if a family member got
at least
eaten,
for a week.
At least a week of upset. I'd probably say a little longer. Depending on the family member, I guess, and your relationship.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not a quiet place. It took them a couple of years,
yeah,
right?
It took a couple of years.
No,
Seriously.
It takes a couple of years.
That'll take a couple of years. That will.
I don't know if it's going to take a couple of years, but something I really wanted to get into the specifics of it, because again, it was very evident of a lower end team or a team that needs to work on some things. The Eevee came out, right? The Snow Globe Eevee came out. Give us your best smug face, by the way. That's just your regular face.
Hey, wow. What are you trying to say here, Tom?
The Snow Globe Eevee came out.
You are from LA.
There it is.
There it is.
LA.
Hollywood over here.
You're from
Watch
North
out.
Carolina. I'm from LA. This is what people from North Carolina think about LA.
And this is how New Yorkers
True
deal with it. Next, we just move on.
I love it.
But so the Snow Globe Eevee, right? Threw them for a loop. They had to ban it.
Everyone for a loop.
They had to ban it in game 4, and I think that's ultimately what led to their demise there, because they didn't have maybe what could have been an Anara ban or another integral ban. I think a more established team goes, all right, you threw the curveball. We know how to hit it next time.
Right.
Whereas SK, they had to ban it. They weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways to look at this if you're an SK fan. Sure, it ruined that set, but next time they'll be ready for it, or they just can't adapt it or work well under pressure. How are you feeling?
I kind of thought that we were going to see them adapt. That was one of the things, like after the first game, I was like, all right, you've spent 20 minutes at this point while playing against this.
Getting your butt whooped by.
you should understand like what is Evil Eye trying to do here. And then the next game, it just happens again. And it's like, okay, you've now spent a collective 40 minutes playing against Evil Eye on this champion. Like you should understand what his goal is. And instead of, okay, we think we can handle it, we're going to lose if we don't ban this.
For me, it is a very, very cool thing to see Snow Globe Eevee 1 work. And I think that was as much as I've been saying I love it, I was the last guy that expected to see it today. And especially from Evil Eye when they're missing eye drop bodies. So I thought it was a risk, and I think it paid off. And those are things I love to see with talents and Paladins, especially at the start of a season when you could pick your map, you can kind of design it, at least in game 1 of the split. But, again, you have Evil Eye. Pick Snow Globe against you and actually work. You have Moonchopper at the end of a game that you're about to win and you inflame. Get a triple kill.
What a play that was.
You have all of these things coincide against you to just mean that you can't win. And to me, it's like, when are we going to change the rhetoric around SK? When are they going to change it? It almost feels like a curse.
It does, but watching Dethroner, I mean, Dethroner was one of the MVPs today. I think.
He was great.
Even though on the losing team, Dethroner came out, and if I'm paying or I'm Dethroner, today's a day where I got to say, hey, look, you're going to know my name.
Yeah.
Today is my first at bat, if you will, but later on, you've got to remember this name. The Mako is out of control, and what he was able to do on and off the point was really impressive. And so I'm going to ask you guys for a letter grade here.
Yeah.
How Dethroner, you can touch on Pain if you want, but Dethroner, I think, stole the spotlight. What's your letter grade on the new guys for SK?
I'm going to give Dethroner at least a B. And it was one of those things, like, I was basing pretty much everything I had for him on
cookie.
the very beginning. I would have given an A, but it's just like,
we don't want to hear what you would have given. You gave a B.
Where there were just enough, not necessarily mistakes, but enough things that it's like, well, this could have gone separate or differently for your team if you had been able to step up. And it's like, I don't want to give you the perfect score if you weren't perfect when it comes down to it. But compared to what I was thinking was going to happen with Dethroner, especially because I was basing most of it off of that one set against G2 where everything just was awful from Envy, I thought this is going to be a sweep. We're not going to see anything important happen. Like, it's not going to matter. And I genuinely thought today was going to be like the most boring day for the BBL. We were just going to sit around. We were going to go in there. It was going to be a 3-0, 3-0, and then we were going to be done. And instead, SK came out and actually blew me away with how they played. Even though they lost, I think they still played damn fine, especially compared to the way they played in the summer.
So that's your letter grade.
Is a B.
That was a long letter grade, my friend.
That was a long letter grade.
I give an A- to Dethroner. And I think part of the reason is
taking
that
his class.
You can't do anything about the way that this happened. And I felt SK had two members who gave A- performances today. And, Bitey's Bitey. He's excluded. He's obviously a great player. But Invocal going 31 and like 7 on Androxus. You have Dethroner playing everything that he needs to do and really filling that role as a front line. And you have Pain having, I think, an A- game 1. But game 2, it drops to a B-, drops to a C+, and he becomes a shadow, not really a star player. And I think they needed that. If he would have stayed at that A level, that B+ level, I think SK might have been able to squeeze this through.
Do they have legs? Because I watched this game and I saw an SK that, one, I mean, very clearly they have 2 new players. It's not the same SK that we've watched in the past. And 2, again, in the early stages of that the G2 game, and even it was less so there in the Renegades set, but even once or twice, you saw moments where you went, these guys can maybe do it in the future.
I love their future. I think this is, again, it's a really tough day because you lose 2 games, you're already 0-2, and you're against one of your seeds that you're competing for. But if you look at the future of your potential as a roster, I think you guys can, especially in this split, and definitely if you just get to HRX, have a chance to make a run.
Similar to what I said yesterday about Mouse, it was one of those things where I was like, week 1 Mouse was kind of lackluster. Week 1 SK actually was impressive to me. But week 3 is going to be phenomenal. Like by the time they get all of this practice, not only just with each other, the scrims that are going to start happening with the split starting up, but then all of the competitive nature where it's like, this is do or die. Everyone is playing their heart out. By the time you hit week 3, week 4, you know each other really well. You know what your intuition is going to be. You know exactly how this player is going to react. So you can plan around that, and it changes your style of play.
Yeah, for sure. I was really impressed, like you said, with week 1 SK. SK and G2 was where the real meat and potatoes of the day was. Renegades, a little bit less there, but before we go, I do want to touch on what was going on. You're already loving it. Talk to me, Gore.
The end of the Jaguar Falls game,
man,
like my mind, like I feel like I was
heart
fried.
was ripped out.
Because like after that, I was like, there's literally no way you're going to top this in a game 3. Like that should have been the end of the set. We should have just called it because like we get to Splitstone Quarry and it's like, okay, not only is this a longer map, but also there's no way you're coming back from that. Like Moonchopper just destroyed you.
That was some of the most impressive regular season play I've seen in a while. Just the ability to single-handedly shut that down. And that's one of the cool things about Pally is that you do have that opportunity, but it's always the thought in your head, right? You're always thinking as the buzzer's clicking down that you're the one going to get the buzzer beater. You're the one firing from half court. And then Moonchopper's like, what if I do it?
What if I just actually do it? And that's what was crazy. I mean, they had the guy make the half-court shot. He did, and it was against an inflamed team. It's the rule of thumb is when you inflame, you don't lose your team fight. 30% more damage, 30% more movement speed. You just don't lose it, and she's still there healing you. But they lost it. That's what's so wild. It's like the one time it just doesn't work out for them. And what's the rule? I'm sure you probably remember. It's where everything that will go wrong can go wrong.
Yeah.
What is that?
Murphy's
Mercury's
Murphy's
razor. No, Murphy's law.
Close.
Yeah, close.
Close. The SK story.
That's
Day number
right.
1 for North America was kind of fun. We watched SK honestly lose, but like I said, if you're an SK fan, don't burn the black and white just yet. I think that this team does have legs, and like we talked about in the earlier portion, if you missed a lot of the fine print here, number 1 and number 2 are going to land as per usual. We'll wave to Envy and G2 as they board their planes, but number 3. We're also inviting number 3 to HRX and the big lands. So I think it's an exciting world to pay attention to teams like Renegades, like SK. Maybe less so Splice, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun starting off the North American side. Gore, Rain Day, thank you for having me.
Thanks,
for
man.
myself, everybody behind the scenes, everybody in front of the scenes, and of course, all y'all in chat. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later on in the realm.